Turkey Shoot is a 1982 Australian exploitation film, or best known as Ozploitation, directed by Brian Trenchard Smith, starring Steve Railsback, Olivia Hussey, Michael Craig, and Roger Wald. Music by Brian May. The movie has three unique titles, Turkey Shoot being its original name, Escape 2000 being the American title, and probably the most notorious one being Blood Camp Thatcher, being a UK retitled Vipco release of it. A dystopian future world has a new regime, and everyone has to reform to it. If not, it's to the blood camps for you then. The ruthless Camp Thatcher ran by a despicable warden and filled with guards who have their own agendas. It's no reason that not many people get to leave one of these camps. It's either breaking your back to earn the chance to be able to leave, once you have shown that you have reformed to what modern society wants, or it's death, and the latter is a popular option for the inmates here. Playing a game devised by Thatcher, which is a matter of life and death, the sole survivor left standing will earn the right to be a free man or woman once again. Will our heroes survive and overthrow the system? Or will Thatcher and his group of friends get their way once again? Who will be victorious whilst playing Turkey Shoot? The film starts with a title sequence filled with clips from real-life riots and protests. It gives the film a realistic look to it, as the footage we are seeing is obviously real. Joined with a brilliant score by Brian May, not of Queen fame Brian May. The opening is very effective. We then meet our two characters, played by Olivia Hussey, best known for Black Christmas 1974, and Steve Railsback, who starred in Toby Hooper's 1985 Life Force. Olivia's character, Chris Waltz, is thrown into this world by mistake as Steve's character, Paul Anders, runs into her whilst using her shop as a hideout, whilst trying to flee from some guards. Chris, who is working in the shop, tries to hide him away, and with that, Paul takes the opportunity to try and make contact with other resistant fighters with a radio broadcast. They are both brought down by the guards and taken to the infamous camp of Wald and Thatcher. The movie has us following our two leads, who are eventually joined by a few other colourful and interesting characters, who all have different opinions and reasons to escape the prison. People like Dodge, who is only looking out for himself and will look for any opportunity that will benefit him, even if that means screwing over other inmates. The notorious Thatcher is introduced to us by forming a new idea of him hosting a death sports game, where each of the full chosen leaders get to choose a singular inmate to represent them, and if they survive within the allocated time, which is 24 hours, then that person will get to live and be set free from the camp. But the host will get to hunt down their pick with a chosen weapon of their choice. And the four hosts, including Thatcher, are all very eccentric and disgusting examples of human beings. They are all filthy rich and exploiting their powers, and they have no problem showing that, testing their weapons on innocent people within the camp, and just being overall vulgar in their behaviour. We have a rather overweight, higher up within the prison sector, which Thatcher is trying to impress and suck up to so he can one day get that promotion he is ever so desperately trying to get. A rather comical British guy who is very flamboyant, and this, for him, is one big game. You can tell he is having a lot of fun with this format. And finally, a rather glamorous woman, who is the most ruthless and brutal out of them all, being very straight-faced and 100% committed to the Turkey Shoot. Directed by Brian Trenchard Smith, British-born, but spent the majority of his career working in Australia, and is best known for films like Dead End Driving and Night of Demons 2. He has a wide range of work and has been in the industry for decades working on big and low budget cinema and TV, also a writer and producer. He always has a positive look on his previous work if you have ever seen him in interviews or documentaries, and played a pivotal role in the Ozploitation cinema. Steve's character is very well known within the system and has been imprisoned many times in many different camps, but has always managed to escape one way or another. He's constantly getting beaten down and broken by different torturous techniques, like being caged in a very narrow space while holding up a heavy block of weighted steel without dropping it whilst in the scorching sunlight. He never cracks and always gives as good as he can take, sticking it to the warden as much as he can. Olivia's character has been thrown into this situation by total accident. Wrong place at the wrong time, so she is visibly terrified and shaken throughout most of the film. Encountering awful situations, she never backs down and ends up turning into a strong, fearless and motivated character on the same level as Steve. They are both very likeable, and Steve's character especially has some great one-liners, giving a lot of personality to him. Another character I have to talk about is Ritter, the warden's right-hand man, and this guy is like a pro wrestler, intimidating, jacked, looking to cause as much damage and destruction he possibly can. He again has some great lines throughout, and the performance by Roger Wald, who also starred in the original Mad Max, is top notch in this. really gets the personality across, and is honestly the perfect choice for this role. Thatcher is played by Michael Craig, and just like the rest of the cast, he does a tremendous job with what he's been given, and really gives his all and makes the character his own. He's confident and charming in a James Bond villain way. He would fit perfectly in a Roger Moore Bond flick. He has a great look to him, and that Britishness of his voice and performance makes him the ultimate bad guy with many layers. Also, he starred in a 1986 Doctor Who story, Terror of the Vervoids, playing Commodore Travers, and Doctor Who is my other big love, so I had to plug that in somehow. Some of my favourite scenes that I want to talk about are the very mean-spirited execution scene, when the guards capture an escaped inmate and make an example of him in front of all the other prisoners. They strap 2 massive hollow plastic balls and fill them with oil. Then they loosen the caps and start to kick them around like playing football with a group of mates, spilling and splashing the liquid everywhere, all over the chained prisoner and the ground surrounding him. Once they're bored and have had enough, then they set the ground alight from multiple angles and just watch as the flames engulf this guy. It's pretty brutal and never looks away, but it's a real turning point for the main cast as they realise just what they are dealing with. Another scene I love is the one where the British host of the game finally shows his chosen weapon of choice whilst tracking his chosen participant. And his surprise is not a conventional weapon, but instead an actual wolfman, some sort of freak that he had obtained through some backdoor dealings with a running freak show if I recall correctly. And this thing is amazing in both a hilarious and WTF way. Dressed in formal clothing but looking like the teen wolf with bright yellow eyes, he manhandles his victims and continuously beats down his opponents. Absolutely great stuff. And it really shows that the filmmaker is having a lot of fun with this. Just the overall feeling to this is very fun. They don't take it too serious, and it really works. All of the location shooting, which was done in Australia, all looks fantastic, and really adds to the look of the movie. Everything looks so hot and sweaty. The music is amazing and fits really well. Acting and special effects are all solid too. There are some great standout special effects, especially a certain demise at the end, which will get you fist pumping and cheering. Again, just really great stuff here. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. There is a 2014 remake of this, and I only found out about it whilst looking up for this. It stars Dominic Purcell from Prison Break fame, and is an Australian production. Well, at least the director is Australian. In the UK, and I think in the States too, it's known as Elimination Game, but in Australia it is titled Turkey Shoot. It seems to follow the same story beats as the original, and the biggest connection is that Roger Wald, who played Rit in the 82 one, does make a cameo in this. So to my knowledge, it's 100% an official remake of Turkey Shoot 1982. I've never watched it, and from the reviews it seems a pretty bad movie, let alone a remake, so I can't really give my personal opinion on it. Now back to the original. It has some obvious comparisons to films like Battle Royale and Hunger Games, and also in the modern age with gaming, the Battle Royale game mode is a huge commodity and is very popular, with games like Fortnite and PUBG. But this does have its own twist, with it being more like the Running Man, where they are being hunted down and have to work together or on their own to overcome the threat. But I still like to lump it into that genre of Battle Royale style movies. Also, that concept is as old as time, with people hunting each other or being hunted for either sport or entertainment. And Escape 2000 did come out in 1982, so it's one of the few original films that shows this concept rather well. Give it a watch, it's a total blast, and there are many laughs to be had with it. Some standout scenes, and highly satisfying when it comes to blood and gore. Can you survive the Turkey Shoot? Now let's talk about some of the key home media releases from both the UK and the US. First up in the UK was released by Guild Home Video in 1987. To my knowledge seems to be cut by a few minutes, with this version coming in at 83 minutes, whilst the most complete version on the BBFC website is listed at 89 minutes. In 1992 it was released in the States by Star Maker, with the alternate title Escape 2000. Packaged with a slip box, which was common, and a runtime of 80 minutes NTSC format. Does seem to have been cut, as later on the Anchor Bay DVD would have the tagline, uncut and uncensored for the first time. Vipco released it in 1993 in the UK on VHS with the 83-minute runtime, but this time they infamously retitled it Blood Camp Thatcher, which is the most diabolical title of all time. I'm sure it was a ploy to gain more interest through fans. In 2003, Vipco would release it again in the UK, keeping the same Blood Camp Thatcher title, but this time it is 89 minutes rather than the 83-minute runtime. Overseas in the same year, Anchor Bay would put it on DVD, and sporting the Escape 2000 title again. would be a firm favourite for collectors, coming with extras like a new 24-minute documentary, all new interview with the director and also a commentary. This was the go-to release of the movie for a long time. Finally, after years of waiting, Turkey Shoot made its way back and finally on HD with the Severin Films release of it on Blu-ray. Having the original title Turkey Shoot and the runtime being 93 minutes, packed with brand new and archival supplements, this was and is the ultimate copy of the 1982 Ozploitation classic, with no release over here in the UK and the Severin one being region free. Go grab this one, it's quite common and pops up on eBay for a good price. Here we have the 2003 Region A only DVD release of Escape 2000, or otherwise known as Turkey Shoot, by Anchor Bay. Uncut and uncensored for the first time. Brian Trenchard Smith. The cover's really nice. It's quite simple, but it has this reflective foil look to it, which makes it stand out. Here we have the spine. Classic Anchor Bay sailboat logo. Such a shame that we don't see them anymore. I've said before how nostalgic I am for that logo, and I'd love to see it on the Blu-ray shelf, but it's just a shame. Anyway, here's the back. I'll take a high quality image and put it up so you can pause to read. Pretty solid features as well, especially for the time. New interview, commentary, another interview with the director. Again, 93 minutes. And like I said before, this is Region A. Let's take a look inside. You have a little, 2-page spread on the film. Chapter selections. Original poster artwork for the American retitle of Escape 2000. The day the future had to be stopped. It's a great image. I prefer the title Turkey Shoot, but it's still great. It's still a great cover and title. The disc, pretty basic, but yeah. I don't have the Severin Films Blu-ray. I am looking to get it, but hasn't popped up for a good price yet. But it's still a great release, and especially for 2003. Anchor Bay was at top of their game back then, and they knew what they were doing. So, if you can't get the Severin Blu-ray, I still recommend picking this one up if you can find it cheap enough. It's light on extras compared to what we have today when it comes to Blu-rays. It's still a really good release. It's got some, like I said, new interviews, everything like that. The quality was pretty good as well, and so was the sound. So I recommend picking it up. Thank you for watching. See you again soon.